Hello everyone, welcome to a new lecture. In this video we are going to talk about floods. I bet at some point you have come across some sort of flooding in your area, or you have seen disastrous flooding events on TV. So what is flood? Well, flood is an overflow of water in an area, populated or not, and due to different factors, either natural or man-made. If overflow of water in a river or a stream happens, then flooding has occurred. As you can see in this picture, either due to some reason, either it was man-made or natural, overflow of water happened in this region and flooding has occurred. As you can see, flooding can be extremely dangerous and can cause great damage. The area where the overflow goes onto is called a floodplain. So what is a floodplain? Well, a floodplain is a low, flat, periodically flooded land adjacent to a river or a stream. So when we have a stream and water goes into the stream as a flow, when flooding happens, the excessive water in the stream or the channel goes to a low, flat land. And this land is called a floodplain. As you can see in this picture, we have a river. This is a Verde River near Panorama, Brazil. This river, when it floods, all the excessive water goes to this flat, low land that is called a floodplain. So this area, as you can see, there is consequences of flood that is apparent on it. Every time this stream gets flooded, the overflowing water flood this area, and so this region is called a floodplain. So now we know what is flood and floodplain, but when does flooding occur? Well, floods occur when flow of water exceeds a channel's capacity. When discharge becomes too high, it pushes the banks of the channels, most of the time overtopping them to flood the floodplains. So whenever the water that goes into a stream exceeds the channel's capacity or the stream's capacity, then flooding occurs. So imagine in this picture we have this channel and water goes into it. If the water exceeds the channel capacity, then all the water will push the banks and come to the floodplain and will flood this area. Precisely, every time flooding happens, the water in the channel or the stream has to exceed the channel's capacity, then it will flood. So the question to ask is, why does flooding occur? Well, flooding occurs due to these reasons. There are many reasons, but I have listed these reasons as main ones. Flooding occurs due to heavy rain, due to saturated soil, dam breakage, storm cyclones, or bad sewage systems. If you have a continuous pourage of rain and you don't have a good sewage system, or you don't have a good drainage system that can drain all this rain, eventually the area will get flooded. Or if you are in an area that is not populated and the soil does not take all the rain that's on the ground, then flooding will occur. Sometimes flooding occurs due to dam breakage, since dams accumulate a lot of water, and sometimes breakage in this dam can flood a very large area in a sudden. Sometimes storm cyclones, what they are hurricanes, and they usually happen near coastal areas. They bring a lot of water from the ocean to a coastal city and they flood the city. So either due to heavy rain, saturated soil that is full of water and cannot take any more water, or dam breakage, or storm cyclones, or eventually bad sewage system, flooding can occur. So all these reasons and many others that are not listed can cause flooding and overflow of water in a particular area. So how many types of floods do we have? Well, we have regional floods, we have flash floods, we have ice jam floods, and we have dam failure floods. So let's look at each of these in more detail. The first one, regional flood. This flood is seasonal and it's due to intense raining or melting of snow and usually affects a large region. An example would be the Great Flood of 1993 in the upper Mississippi River Basin, and it is likely to be the country's worst non-hurricane flooding disaster with damages that approach $29 billion. The other type of floods that we have is called flash floods. Flash floods often occur with little warning and are potentially deadly because they produce great amount of water in a short period of time that can leave little room for preparation and evacuation. This type of flood comes very fast. It can accumulate a lot of water and it can hit a region with no warning. Usually it happens in mountainous areas since the steep slopes can funnel runoff into narrow valleys. The next type of flood that we have is called ice jam floods. Ice jam floods, or this flood, happen due to breakage of temporary ice dams across a channel. Frozen rivers are especially susceptible to ice jam floods. So what happens is the rise of water can break surface ice and make them accumulate and create an ice dam, while the water behind the ice dam accumulates more and more, and at one point the ice dam breaks and releases a lot of water, causing huge damages. As you can see in this picture, the water carries a lot of ice and snow, and since these ice snow blocked an area and caused an ice dam, and after they were broken, this avalanche of water and ice came and caused great damage. The last type of floods that we have is called dam failure floods. As you can see in this picture, we have a dam right here, and this is the water. The dam broke and all the water came and flooded this area, creating a mixture of soil and water that caused great damages. So this is about floods, but how can we control floods? There are flood controls. There are artificial levees, channelization, and flood control dams. Artificial levees are man-made levees to increase channels capacity. When the channel's capacity increased, the water that flows into it therefore increases. Therefore, the excessive water will not go to a floodplain and flood an area, but actually stays in the channel. We have channelization, that is altering a stream's channel in order to make the flow more efficient. Basically, what this means, in a channel there are a lot of stuff that can block the water. Basically, what you do is you clean the channel and create a more efficient channel for flowing. Finally, we have flood control dams, and that is to store floodwater and then release it slowly in a controllable manner. When you have the excessive water and you control it and then you release it in an efficient manner that is not devastating, then that is flood control dams. So these approaches can control floods and can prevent disasters to occur. Finally, we have flood reoccurrence. This concept is very important. Flood reoccurrence is the concept that tries to explain how often a flood of a particular size occurs. So the larger the flood, the less often it is expected to occur. So let's say we have a 20-year flood and we have a 100-year flood. This does not mean that every 20 years this flood will occur, or every 100 years this flood will occur. But actually, it means that for the 100 years, it means that there's a 1% chance probability that this type of flood, this 100-year flood, will happen in a particular year. 25-year flood is 4 times likely to happen than a 100-year flood, since a 25-year flood is smaller than a 100-year flood, and 25-year flood has a 25% more chance to happen than a 100-year flood, which, as I mentioned, has a 1%, 1 in 100 probability in a given year for a flood of that size to occur. So just to be aware, a 25-year flood or a 100-year flood or a 50-year flood does not mean that it will happen every 25 years, but just shows the probability. And with this, we come to the end of our lecture. So to recap,